So here's the thing, the king of budget dash cams, the good old DDPAI Mini, has a new challenger, and it is none other than the DDPAI Mini Pro. So which of these two dash cams should you buy, what are the differences, and what makes the Pro model a better buy than the older DDPAI Mini? Well, let's take a look. Now coming to the most important difference, the DDPAI Mini comes at a price of 3649 rupees on Amazon and the Mini Pro comes at a price of 4499 rupees. Now other than the price, the most basic difference is that the DDPAI Mini has a resolution of 1080p Full HD at 30 fps and the DDPAI Mini Pro has a resolution of 1296p at 25 fps. The DDPAI Mini has a 2 megapixel CMOS sensor and the Mini Pro has a 3 megapixel CMOS sensor. The Mini Pro supports microSD cards up to 256 GB and the DDPAI Mini supports memory cards up to 128 GB. Both the cameras support a field of view of 140 degrees, both cameras have an f2.2 aperture, both have loop recording, emergency recording, and both cameras support parking monitoring via hardware kit. So at first you can straight away make out that the older model had a gloss black finish and the newer model now has a matte black finish. So more or less the size of the camera has remained the same and it's not a major difference, and if we compare it side by side, the Pro version is slightly smaller compared to the older one, and that's not a significant difference. The position of the camera, the logo of the DDPAI has all remained in the same place. If you take a look at the working end of both these dash cameras, as you can see, in the older model you have a lid present and you need to open up the lid in order to access the microSD card and the reset slot. In the newer model there is no lid, you have straight away access to the microSD card, reset slot, and of course the LED is now placed right next to the microSD card slot. In the case of the older model, the LED was placed at the rear side. Now actually I prefer this rear side LED because this is visible while sitting in any place of the car, but the side mounted LED is limited to be viewed by the driver only. Also guys, the mounting bracket is slightly different in shape and design. Both the cameras have a micro USB port, and on the right side of the dash cam you have the speaker grill, which is more or less the same, and on the bottom you have the mic slot at the same place where it used to be. Also guys, both the dash cameras have a rotatable design. So as you can see, the older model is rotatable about 300 degrees I think, and even the newer model has the same pattern, but the rotating mechanism has been made much smoother. There is no clicking sound in the Pro model. As you can see, it rotates very smoothly, whereas in the older model you hear a prominent clicking sound while rotating, and that's been taken away in the Pro model. So that's also a good change, and that's also a very fine change that has come up in the Pro model. Now comparing the video samples of both the dash cameras, you can see the Mini Pro on the left and the DDPAI Mini on the right. I must say the Mini Pro has a more sharper visual and the older DDPAI Mini has a more softer visual. Even the contrast levels are looking slightly better on the Mini Pro. Well, overall I think the Mini Pro, due to a slight bit bump up in the resolution, gives you a more sharper image and clarity and goes a long way in giving you a better video. So if we go ahead and take a look at the license plate readability of the Mini Pro, I think I'll just go ahead and zoom in on the car in front with a slight distance of about 20 feet. Now as you can see, the letters and the numbers are legible and you can make out each and individual letter separately, and that's a really cool thing for a 1296 cam. If I go ahead and zoom in at a close range of the license plate, now this is an excellent license plate readability at a close range for the DDPAI Mini Pro, and this is something what you should be aspiring for if you are buying the DDPAI Mini Pro. If you go ahead and take a look at the same footage again using the DDPAI Mini dashcam this time, now this is slightly more blurry I think compared to the Mini Pro, but overall you can still make out the individual letters and numbers and you can make out the license plate. If I go ahead and zoom in again at a close range, now this is also again a very good license plate readability for the DDPAI Mini at a close range, and this really shows that the camera works best at the close range in terms of reading license plates. If we compare it side by side, on top you have the Pro and on the bottom you have the Mini, and there is a very slight difference, I think only a slight improvement in the Mini Pro sample, and this is again in the close range. Not a much of a difference but a slight improvement only, but both the cameras have a very good performance at a close range. Taking a look at the side by side footage again at night, the Mini Pro on the left and the DDPAI Mini on the right. The Mini Pro footage does seem to be a bit more darker compared to the Mini because slightly the DDPAI Mini has a higher exposure level I think compared to the Mini Pro. But overall footage, the DDPAI Mini Pro is giving more of a natural tone compared to the DDPAI Mini. Now if I go ahead and zoom in on the license plate of the Mini Pro, now this is a very excellent read of the license plate at night, which is giving you a proper contrast, brightness and exposure levels. If I go ahead and zoom in on the DDPAI Mini sample, now you can still make out the number plate, but it gives more of a paint kind of an appearance and not a proper image. Now if I put them together side by side on top the Pro and on the bottom the Mini, both the license plates are readable, but the natural tone is present only in the Mini Pro, and the DDPAI Mini is giving a more of a painted appearance. So that was an exhaustive comparison of these two dash cameras, their video samples, their license plate readability, form factor and technical specifications. I'm quite sure you have liked this video, and in case if you did, hit the like button right below the video, and if you're interested in watching some more interesting content like this, make sure you are subscribed to Travel Tech right away. Also guys, if you're interested in purchasing any of these two dash cameras, either the newer DDPAI Mini Pro model or the older DDPAI Mini model, the links to purchase them will be provided in the description of this video. So just head down onto the description, you will find the link right there. So this was everything related to the DDPAI Mini and the DDPAI Mini Pro. And even after watching this video, if you have any doubts regarding any of these two dash cameras, you can write down in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Many more interesting videos are coming up in the future. Make sure you do not miss them. Thank you for watching, and until next one, see ya.